Hey, this is Eddie Hale, and I'm going to try to teach you everything I know about gradients in 5 minutes. Gradients come up in lesson 5 in my Illustrator class. I'm going to draw a rectangle here, and I'm going to fill it with a gradient. I'm going to go to my gradient panel and click on the gradient there, and that will fill it with a gradient. By the way, when working with gradients, I like to expand my panels so that I can see the gradients and the color swatches up here. Going to remove the stroke from my gradient box here. So here's my gradient, and in the gradient panel there are a whole bunch of things I can do. I can add a gradient color stop by clicking down here, and I add a color stop. That's not very exciting. Unless I change the color of it, I can go to my color panel up here and change the sliders to CMYK sliders, and now I can drag these around and create a new color, which is a lesson in itself. The thing I usually do more often is I drag a color from the swatches panel onto the gradient panel here, and it adds a color stop when I do that. So I can drag colors down here and add stops to my gradient like that, and they appear over here in this selected box. If you have a color that you don't like, you can replace it with another color. I'd rather have that be this color here. I'd rather have this one be a dark green, and it'll replace that. Now, I can drag these color stops around to adjust where they fall. On the assignment that I have for you, there's a gradient that looks kind of like this. When you print it in grayscale, it should go from dark to light to dark to light to dark to light again. Yeah, so make me a gradient like that for the assignment. Make sure that, yeah. So anyway, what else can we do? We can get rid of gradient color stops by dragging them right off. I'm just clicking and dragging them right down, and they go away. So that's one way. Or that's another thing you can do with gradients. You can take this little I don't know what it's called, but you can take this midway slider and drag it, and it changes where the gradient is. 50% one color, 50% the other color. And you can get some different effects with that. So that's good. Look at this gradient, how it goes from orange to gray to black. What if I wanted it to be orange and then just get darker, darker, darker until it's black? There's a trick you can do. You click on this black slider over here, and instead of just grayscale black, change it to what's called a rich black. I'm going to change my sliders to CMYK, and I'm going to add yellow and some magenta to that, and you're going to see that black is no longer just grayscale black, but it's got magenta and yellow and black inks in it, and now it just turns darker, darker orange until the orange turns black. And you can do that with any color. You can go from blue to dark blue, almost black. Okay, so we've got that. Now we've got to talk about this gradient tool over here. I'm going to click on that. With this tool, I can press and drag, and I change the direction the gradient goes. If I drag a little bit, the gradient only covers a little span. If I drag a lot, it covers more of the area, and I can start outside of the shape. I'm going to start up here and drag down to here, and it will do that too. So it's not quite intense black inside the shape I have here. You are welcome to practice with this gradient preview bar here. It's new it's new in the later versions of Illustrator, and I'm not as comfortable with it as I am with the old school, just dragging the gradient tool around to get it. It is interesting though, because you can adjust the midtone on here. If I had more colors, I could drag those color stops around on this bar here. So give it a try if you want to, but you can also just ignore it and drag the gradient tool like this to make your gradient do what you want it to do. What else can we do with gradients? We can change them from linear to radial. Get a radial gradient like that. Again, you can adjust how wide it is. Sometimes it's nice to have it leave the shape like that. You can adjust where the center point is, and you can drag with the gradient tool, just like always. That's the radial gradient. What else shall I show you? Here's an interesting thing. I could have a gradient that goes from orange to orange. How would I do that? I would hold the Option key and drag out this orange slider here. So you can duplicate a color stop just like you can duplicate anything in Illustrator. And then I can change the opacity of this one to 0. Look at that. my orange will fade from solid orange to a perfectly transparent orange. What if I put a color behind there? What would that look like? I'm going to send this to back using my super secret keystrokes. And there you can see that my orange gets more and more transparent as it goes back. So there, I think that's everything you'd ever want to know about the gradient tool. I hope you'll try it out. Thanks.